Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are chilling here with the drop top mini truck, and what we got going on is I'm going to show you guys how to run some of the weather stripping. I'm going to show you guys how to reattach a 3-point seat belt if you're in a state like me where you need to have the shoulder belt, and do at your own risk. And I'm also going to show you guys me installing some of the trim and a rear view mirror. I'm taking this intro after the video, but as you can see, we have it now. I forgot to put it in when I took it for my first drive. And you don't realize how much you use it until you don't have it. But a little bit of a slower video. This is kind of part 3. I'm going to epoxy the rest of the stuff on my own time. I show you guys how to do the windshield bow in part 2. But I just need to take my own time and really just kind of work at it. I'll describe how to do it, but it's pretty straightforward, real simple stuff. So this is part 3, last and final part of how to do the rooftop convertible kit. And we're going to move on to some other pretty cool stuff coming up in the near future. But just wanted to show you guys what we had going on today. Let's get into it. So in my cruising yesterday, I had a couple small issues. Like, you can't really roll the window all the way up. Both these corners hit the glass on the closing end. And then all up here, got a little bit more metal trimming to do as well. Once I get this all trimmed out, I want to run my gaskets here. Because I washed the truck yesterday. I had a lot of water coming in. Obviously, I'm still waiting for everything to seal. Then I have to still epoxy this. So eventually, I'm going to talk about a video of all the flaws of having the convertible roof. Maybe the pros and cons. I mean, there's a couple cool pros, obviously, to it, but a couple cons as well. I mean, it comes with any custom stuff, but one thing I just did just now, which I knew was going to happen, is I broke this latch. I felt it in there. I just moved it, and I felt it just, completely come undone, which kind of sucks. So that's a little bit of a bummer there. Just riveted in there. I don't know. Maybe I can make a quick fix for it. But even then, this latch was coming out last night. I've only driven the truck once, so kind of a bummer. Well, that's all right. I will drill those out and have to make a new spot for a new latch. Not the end of the world. We'll leave it latched up for right now so I can do what I got to do. And I'll order some replacements. Part of it is I accidentally did slice this, and it's the only one I've had any problems with. But I guess it is enough to mess with it, so guess it is my bad. But honestly, one of the biggest things I'm super happy with right now is this finally, I think, sealed all the way down. I was having some crazy issues last night. I mean, it's not really the temperature to be trying to do these kinds of projects, but when I push on this, it's not pushing back. Yesterday, it was just going back on its own. So maybe a couple more days. Hopefully this will fully seal. But other than that, pretty happy with it. I'm going to roll up the windows, close them, and see where they hit. But obviously, these corners are a part of it. I did take spray paint and just kind of spray paint all these edges so it didn't look like complete trash. But once I get everything sealed up, we're going to have a couple other fun videos, like just actually fun projects. About doing things like putting maybe up a headliner. I think I found a way to run it up in this seam, but I have to do so much work to get this to stay down. So it looks like we're getting some rain tonight. Need to seal this up pretty soon here, hopefully this week, and just keep working at it. All right, we're making that progress. Got to shave down this plastic a little bit more. Probably not recommended, but honestly don't really care. I need my window to be up and be able to close it without issue. Got to shave down a little bit more right at this corner. That is becoming an issue for me right there. But other than that, not too bad so far. Well, just like that. Open and close. No worries. Still got to do it kind of slowly, but, just want to be precautious. But at least I can close my window now. Makes me pretty happy. Now I just got to do the same thing on the passenger side. And hopefully we're going to be done trimming because this stuff is pretty messy to mess with. So we're dealing with the same issue on this side. I did have to cut the bows down. I don't really fully understand why they sit like they do there. But not anything to worry about too much. It gives it a cleaner look being matched up with the truck too, I think. Do got to trim down some more metal right on this corner as well. But after that, I don't think I should have any issues opening and closing this door. This is a nice little open and close. Just gonna let that smoke out of there from that plastic. And well, this is the result of closing the door now. Literally perfect. So I got a little bit more spacing here. Might just trim that just so it's a little cleaner right here. And give it a little paint. Oh, actually, it's just thin little metal. Good to go. Gonna give a little coat of paint on that just so nothing rusts out. And gonna move on to the next step of what I had planned for today. All right, let's give you guys a quick walk around. So doors open and closed now. Everything's good. Paint's drying. Dripping there. It's okay. I can come back and clean that up. It's spray paint. It's the beautiful thing about this truck being spray paint black. Everything's looking great. And next thing I got to do is something you don't realize you use as much until you really need to use it. I forgot to put my mirror on, so I got to get this up there. Can't find that screw. This is actually pretty exciting. One thing I didn't even think of is I might even be able to run my little plastic cover, which is so sick. I say we try it. If this fits, oh, it would be so sick. It's a little tight, but bam, look at that. Nice. It's nice having trim in here again, to be really honest. Next thing I'm going to think about doing after I reattach this latch is I might custom make a set of pillars that comes up here. It just looks good as long as I can see my latch and all that stuff. Be nice to have some pillars here again as well. Oh, hopefully there's no snow in the truck. If there is, I didn't do as good of a job as I was hoping I did. Not bad, I'll take it. That door panel's a little wet, but haven't even added my gaskets yet. Kind of the whole point of what this video was supposed to be. Gotta sand this down. Messed it up last night, touched it up real quick, but I really gotta actually clean it up and then paint it. Same with this one, but it's just been too cold. Well, now that we've had our fun, just a small one loop for you guys on YouTube. The rest of it will all be on Instagram. I think what I gotta catch up on now is fixing the latch that's on the roof side. So I gotta get that roof back up on here. I still need to get some bolts to bolt this down. I'm slacking. Well, cool lesson for y'all. If you want to know how to remove pop rivets, you just drill them out. Well, our old latch is off. Now I'm gonna go get one of the new ones and probably self-tapper that one in. I do have to cut out this little flaw. I can take my little cutoff wheel and go zip right down there. And I also want to do the same thing for that screw sticking out of the pillar. So I'm going to get those cleaned up. The only reason I'm going to self-tapper the new one in is because it has a different set of holes. So honestly, it's going to sit in a little bit different spot. And I'm just going to self-tapper screw that in. Shouldn't give me any real issues. I've got my screws in there for right now. Temporary fix. Latch is on. We are good to go there. Cut my screws. Everything's looking pretty good right now, actually. I'm pretty happy. Let's get back to business. So we have this gasket that comes with the kit right now. It's got a little bit of a triangle look to it. Yeah, we're gonna want the flat face facing up here. We're gonna want to run this gasket from down here all the way up. They give you quite a bit, and then cut one more section for right here, so the window has something to rest against, so it's not clacking against the metal while you're driving. It's pretty straightforward, though. You're gonna want to figure out how much you're gonna want to use. Then we're gonna place this up here and just run it down. And then I'm gonna cut a second piece for right here. Well, I'm gonna roll up my window now. I'm not too sure what extent of weather these are meant to hold up to, but this is what it looks like when I close my door now with my window up. And it definitely makes a little bit of a gasket. It makes your windows stick out probably about where it should. Realistically, makes a little seal. I'm just hoping it kind of reduces some of the noise inside the cab when driving so I don't hear the whole time. One of the things I've been wanting to get done is running the gasket on the roof. So I wasn't too sure how to do it, and now I know. I still have to epoxy everything down. That has not changed yet. So here we are. We're going to want to go to the female end, not the end on the truck, but the removable roof. And all I'm going to do is literally run a gasket, just like they did in the 80s. I'm going to go from right here all the way up, all the way across, and then if I have enough left over, we're going to go down a little. Then we're going to make the second one go all the way down the length of the bottom. I'll show you what it looks like after, but that way it'll give it an even look and hopefully redirect some of the rain. Obviously, I'm going to get leaks until I seal this, though. And that's simple. That is exactly how I ran my gasket. All the way down. Had a little extra, just in case. Never know. I could have ran this one down a little bit longer and off to the side. Not the end of the world, but at least now when it goes up there, it'll make a nice little seal to help with some of the water. So in part 2, I show you guys how to put in the purple lap belt. Like I said, it's unfortunate, but I'd rather not draw any unnecessary attention to myself. So right here we got the 3-point belts that are going to go back in the truck, but with a twist. So no matter what, you kind of have to take off at least just your point that comes up here, your third point, because you cut the roof off, it's gone. Like there's no going back after. So what we're going to do, I actually saw over the summer, we went to the Nor'easter Minitruck show, and there was a guy with a red hard body. He had the Radical Hardtop kit as well. And I actually reached out to him because I saw in some pictures I took that he had just remounted his seatbelt right here, which is just awesome. If I got to do what I got to do, then we're going to do it. My biggest issue is like my shoulders come up to like right about here-ish, so it's going to have to come up and over a little bit, but he said it's pretty comfy, and, you know, we just want to stay within our legal limits. So although I do have the lap belts, you're probably not supposed to change them in any state, unfortunately, unless you're in like New Hampshire. Then you don't even need a seatbelt, but even then, do this all at your own risk if you're going to install the lap belts. But even this, do at your own risk if you're going to do it. But for me, we're going to send it. I love the purple belts. We can go back to purple with a 3-point in the future if I want to. They just stood out because they look sick on the seat, but only so custom you can go. So I figured I'll start on the passenger side. Right down here, we're going to take our buckle and put that back in place. Literally self-explanatory. This bolt at the bottom goes right in, and then there's a little, I think it might be a 10mm up at the top. And a little plastic bag that goes behind it too. I don't usually keep stuff like this, but we'll do it in this case because any sealing will be helpful by any means. So once you get everything bolted back in, we're basically going to take a flat plate of steel with a nut and safely remove this cap. We're going to, I gotta remove this cap entirely with the nut. We're going to basically put a plate of metal down there, drill my hole, and I'm going to attach this buckle basically up here. That way I'll still have my 3rd point. I have to put back in the factory seatbelt buckle as well. Go over my shoulder, down into there, bam, good to go. But we're going to unbolt the purple seatbelt and put this here for now. Eventually, if I get purple seatbelts for this truck, I'll change over and make the middle lap belt at least the purple one. But I'm also going to take my purple lap belt and put that inside of that at some point too, and maybe get some purple seatbelts in there, or we'll leave them black. I haven't really decided yet, but there's some hope for use for these, so I'll hold on to them for now. But first things first, we're going to mount in our bottom half of the buckle right here. Good to go there. Totally feel like I'm going backwards here, but we removed our middle belt. We're going to feed this one back through the seat and bolt it down right there. So I'm out in the truck right now, and honestly, comes over about a normal pace of a belt. Goes around your back a little bit, but it would clamp like right there, so it'll actually come off my back a little bit. I don't think it'll be too bad at all. In the event of an accident, I should be completely fine. But now I have my shoulder belt, I got my lap belt, so everything is looking pretty good. And lastly, I'll show you guys how I mount up this plate. Nothing too crazy. Literally gonna be a flat plate with a nut on it, and then I'm gonna drill my hole, and then we're going to weld it to the body of the truck, and that's pretty much all I can do. Well, using a little step bit, I was able to drill out a hole big enough on each side to fit my my bolt. So now all I need is a plate of metal with a nut welded to it, and I need to get it in there, bolt this down, and probably weld the plate to the truck so it has a little more surface to grab instead of just the sheet metal. And if so, everything will be looking great, and we'll have seatbelts back in this and can honestly start driving it, which I am most excited about. So what's up, guys? I'm just showing you guys basically where I have this mounted up, and all I gotta do now is I gotta order a plate online. Right now I'm gonna run some real thick, big washers just in here. So do not bolt this to the sheet metal, even though this is all do at your own risk. Do not bolt this right to the sheet metal, because this will just get ripped right out. I mean, you're gonna bend the metal, rip it out. Better to use a locking nut as well, but I gotta run to my local hardware store to, I'm gonna probably just put a second nut on there so it doesn't move. But again, and I'm also gonna run some washers back here, all that fun stuff. But I'm just gonna post a picture of the plate that, you know, you can actually just order straight up online, or you can get a square piece of metal plate with a nut on it, weld it to it, drill your holes, and send it. But right now, I'm just showing you guys locations of where I plan on running everything, and that is all for that. But yeah, do not run it to the sheet metal. Like I said, I mean, reinforce that, seriously. But until then, I'm actually probably going to pull this off and give it a quick little sand down, prime, and paint it, because it just looks hideous on the truck. Actually super impressed with how nicely the primer sprayed on there. Come back in a little bit and spray some paint on there. It'll be that good to go. Well, now that we're done playing with seatbelts for now, I'm pretty much described how to set those up. We're going to get back to what this video is about, and it's finishing up all this trim and stuff. I really wanted to show you guys how to epoxy everything, or just me epoxying everything. I'm just going to completely do it on my own time. The weather is just so cold that it's just not... I mean, it makes sense. All you have to do is you take these plastic caps off, you just kind of sand down the inside walls, put your epoxy or silicone. This, I heard you want to use some sort of silicone adhesive, and then you just, put it all on there. You just want that adhesive factor and stick it on there, put a weight on there, let it dry, do that over there. Once we get this bolted down, all I have to do is show you how to run the gasket, and pretty much just showing you guys how to run gaskets this video, the seat belts, and a couple small pieces of trim. So, but it's just going to be probably until spring before I can really get all of this adhesive down, except for the roof bow, because that's going to cause some leaking. Everything else has a self-tapper in it, though, so nothing's going to go flying off on the highway. Unfortunately, I just can't show you guys the silicone half. I mean, it makes sense. I've talked about it. I'm sure you understood, especially the way we did it with this bow. The only downside is I should have sanded the inside of the plastic on this. I didn't realize until after. But I will at some point show you a clip of me getting the roof bow epoxy down. I just don't know if it'll be in this video because the weather is so cold. But regardless of that, let's just have some fun. So we're sitting in here now, and I got some older windshield pillars, and then I got some newer ones. I believe down at the bottom they're the same. So it's just the tops that they're really different. But in this case, I believe it would be better to run the older pillar trim panels, because you got to pull this gasket right off. It's better to run the older ones, I think, because I might not even need to trim them. I might just need to paint them. So if this sits here, we're going to have to cut it. We got a good open space there that doesn't matter for anything. And I'm going to have to trim it like somewhere up here, which isn't bad. Wouldn't look terrible, but it's a little more round. So now we're going to take a look and see if we like this bow, or this, sorry, I keep calling it a bow. We're going to see if we like this windshield trim any better. I think these are A-pillars. And, yo, look at that. Actually, I think we're going to send it. I like this one. I don't have to trim it. I just got to paint it, and it sits a little more closer to the windshield. It's like exactly what we want. So I guess I'm going to get this painted and throw it up on here on both sides. Honestly, I kind of like the gray. I'm not going to lie. I might actually just keep it that way because I have no other black interior right now. It kind of makes it pop a little, especially in person. You kind of see the gray pillars. It looks really clean. It looks well done. We have our rear view in. Like, this all looks really nice now. In the future, we'll kind of touch up on the roof some more. I have a way to maybe run a headliner in it. I didn't think I would. But still got a lot to do. I'm going to go for a quick little cruise and come back and continue to work on the truck. 30-degree day cruises, boys. This is awesome. Well, I do got to say, this bar is looking so much better now that it's not clean black. I don't know how to keep it looking that nice, but it definitely looks so much better. I'm actually probably going to run the roof back up on here for right now. And unfortunately, this panel is going to get demolished, which is so sad. I don't have any ideas for gaskets right now. Eventually, I can just repaint it. It's going to take 2 seconds to get out. All right, so now we have a little nut and bolt for each side. Got it ran in there. It only plugs through a small piece of metal, so all I got to do is tighten that down. Now I actually have like a good setup. Well, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Not going anywhere right now. I could use a third bolt in the middle, but I'll get to there when I get to there. At least it's bolted down for now, and don't got to worry about busting my hand open again. Well, and there we are, boys. Roof is back on. We've figured out our seatbelt situation, so now I can safely and fully legally drive the truck. Gonna snap that down. Bam, just like that. I mean, this kit is going really well. Got a couple little things, like I said, I'm going to touch up on my own time. I am not going to run a gasket in the back here. Maybe I'll try to find something smaller, but not the one they gave you with the kit. It just wouldn't make sense because everything is supposed to be cut, realistically straight. So at that point, I'd have to run gaskets all around and rework my latches, and I'm not going to worry about that right now. If I start seeing rain pouring in there, then we'll come back and make a plan. But seriously, happy to just be cruising this thing. I ordered some tires, so those will be coming in. We'll be able to get this thing back on the wire wheels. That's just what's going to make it look so good. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. This was just like part 3, tying up loose ends. All of this, I'm really just going to have to do on my own time. Again, what you need to do is take some blocks of wood that fit properly and just kind of stuff them in there so it pulls the roof right down like that, and do it all the way down. Usually I see 3 to 5 blocks sometimes. Usually I see them just fill them with like the epoxy your seam, and then put the blocks in so it holds it right down. Things will be looking great. But that is gonna pretty much do it for today's video. I mean, it's all I really had planned. Just cleaning little things up, making things sit right. We got all of our gaskets in, our windows closed. We can close the door with the hardtop on. Worked on a little water management, got a gaskets ran. All I got to do on my own time is the epoxy. But other than that, the rooftop kit is, I would consider, complete at this point. You can always go back, and I've seen people shave all of this, make it one piece. If you have a non-hard body, you can shave all this, but you need to be able to get to your windshield trim. Got a lot of cleaning up to do, but this was a fun series to make. I learned a lot, so that is the most important thing. And we'll have so much more exciting videos going on when it's not 30 degrees outside and we're not cutting the roof off our truck while it's snowing. Yo, thanks so much for checking out today's video, guys. I appreciate all your support. We got some exciting stuff coming up in the spring. If you want to see some more mini truck content in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.